Hey, I'm Les, and this is Comfortable Shoes Studio and another episode of Art Making. In this episode, I'm working from photos from Earth's World on Instagram. If you haven't checked out their photos yet for sketching, you should head on over to Instagram and check out Earth's World. Um, they have really excellent capturing of regular people at carnivals and state fairs and places like that. But they also really capture light and shadow really well. So the people are really great for sketching. These photos are just fantastic. Today, I want to talk about sketching with pencils, of all things. So, in this video, I have toned my pages with very bright magenta ink. This is something that I do quite often. If I'm testing out a new fountain pen ink or just checking out inks in general, I'll put some blobs and squares on a page, and ink is really great for that. In this case, I used some water to blend the ink around. So this page is really rough, and the fibers of the paper are a little lifted. So basically, through the addition of ink and water, I damaged the paper. And a fountain pen could have been used on this, and there are several other videos where I have sketched with fountain pen on paper that I have used water on. In this case, the paper's not that damaged, just damaged enough that I was like, you know what, let's use something dry here. Also, the paper was really wrinkly, so I just decided I was gonna grab my pencils and use those. So um, pencils are something that I think in urban sketching and a lot of like sketching circles are sort of out of favor. And I think because there's a lot of this happened I heard this a lot when I was in my undergrad years taking art classes, drawing with pencil. You have a tendency to erase your lines. And I've noticed this, I see this with the kids that I work with. They erase their lines and erase their lines and erase their lines until the paper is really damaged. And I have been guilty of this myself, being unhappy with what I've drawn and then just going back and erasing, 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 and reworking the image. And one of the things that I've learned with sketching in pen is not to erase my lines. Leave the lines there as I'm finding where the line is in the image. And I'm not sure if that makes sense or not. So, like, I spend a lot of time making extra marks, and I've learned to love those extra marks because those extra marks show me my journey in the drawing. So, adding the extra marks there allows me to see how I found the final image, how I found where that line should be and how it should feel. So, um, yeah, using pencil. So now I use pencil in a very different way than I did when I was younger. I leave those extra marks there. I start out with a lighter hand, so I'm making lighter marks on the page. And then as the drawing progresses, I use more pressure. I add lines over the top of lines and increase the darkness of those lines. Now, I'm using Blackwing pencils in this video. I may use other pencils in the video as well, but I'm using a Blackwing here, and this Blackwing in particular is very soft. It's very dark. It lays down a ton of graphite with very, very little pressure. And I really like that for sketching. I know some people really hate a super soft pencil for sketching. Um, but for me, particularly for some of these images, having it be so soft and dark is really perfect for portrait sketching. The other thing you can do with pencil, and I'm not doing it in this video, but you can smudge the graphite really, really well. So you can really get in there and get some super light shadows, as well as the super dark darks. And for me, that like I'm not a huge fan of smudging pencil. I don't like getting graphite on my hands. I'm also someone who's always like telling you don't stick your fingers in your paint because paint's not good for you to get it on your skin constantly. Please stop doing that. But like, I don't, I'm not particularly fond of getting graphite all over the side of my hand. I'm really tempted to get one of those graphite shields that you wear on your hand so that, you're not smudging so much, or that shield picks up the graphite for you. When I was younger, I used to put a sheet of paper down over my drawing so that I would not smudge the graphite. And that's something that you can also do. Um, so yeah, so I really like graphite for sketching, and I know it's not really fashionable or in favor to sketch with graphite. Like, we're all using pens, and that seems to be the fashionable thing to do nowadays. But I don't. Sometimes it's just really nothing better than a graphite pencil for sketching. So one of the things that like I'm thinking about in terms of like this pencil um is the feel of it. Pencil is so tactile, particularly on this paper. The Five Below paper, if you are a pencil sketcher, the Five Below sketch paper, in these two sketchbooks that I've had from Five Below, has great tooth. It holds a tremendous amount of graphite. You can really get super dark on there and get some intense contrast, which is something I really like. I want a lot of contrast in my images. I like having deep dark areas and super light areas. So a sketchbook like this that, is $5 and is something where you can take your graphite pencil and really build up a lot of layers, is a super, super great sketchbook in my mind for pencil. Um, but yeah, so with pencil, you really need a more toothy sketchbook, a sketchbook with a little bit of texture on it that you can build up those layers of graphite. I try not to push down too hard. There are some areas where you'll see in this that are shiny, and that's because I push down hard on that area of of the sketchbook. And I think, there's something about the texture of the paper, the texture of this really smooth graphite, um, that just is relaxing. There's something super relaxing about this. Like just sitting down with a toothy, inexpensive sketchbook and a really nice pencil. Someone asked me on Facebook when I posted some pictures of myself using one of these Blackwing pencils if they're worth it. And I would say uh, yes and no. You can get a good quality art pencil in a 4, 5, 6, 7, or 8B that's going to be as serviceable as a Blackwing pencil. The majority of my Blackwing pencils now, I used to buy them when they were slightly less expensive. But the majority of the ones you're seeing me use in this video were gifted to me by friends. And my friend and former RSVP co-host Dade sent me a bunch. My friend Lenore sent me a bunch. My friend Johnny has sent me a bunch. I've gotten Black Wings from a lot of people as gifts, and I don't collect them. I get them to use them, and they are a great pencil, but when compared to a good quality art pencil, they're about the same. The Blackwing graphite is nice and smooth and soft. This isn't meant to be a endorsement or a review of the Blackwing pencils. They're a good pencil. Are they the best? I don't know about that. Um, anyway, good pencils. Get yourself some good pencils, and a cheap, toothy sketchbook and draw with pencil. It's just the feel of it is going to be relaxing, and the look of it is something that can't be replicated. Um, Pencil is just such a great media for sketching. So yeah, so that's my I guess you could call that a bit of a love letter to the humble graphite pencil. So yeah, I just want to take a moment and say thank you for being here. Thank you for the support. And I will see you again soon. If you have enjoyed this video, hit that subscription button, hit a thumbs up if you liked it, leave a comment, let me know what you think about pencils. And thanks, and I'll see you next time. Bye.